Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States of America, who served his country at the beginning of the 20th century, is known for a famous speech, "The Man in the Arena." In this speech, he talks about those who are doing something as opposed to those who are pointing out what is being done and how it could have been done and how badly it is being done. He talks about the man in the arena whose face is marred with dust, sweat, and even blood. That at the end of it all, he does something, whether in the process of doing that something, there are mistakes or not. Now, this brings me to my clip this week. It's about leadership and decision making. The two cannot be separated. That you cannot separate decision making from leadership. Neither can you separate leadership from decision making. Leaders are men and women who make decisions. Former US President George Bush said he was the man who was paid to make tough decisions. That the American people pay him to make tough decisions. So if you are a leader and you are unable to make a decision, then the extent to which you are a leader is questionable. This week, I'm talking about Senate and senators. Senators have been unable to make a decision about revenue sharing, about the money that will be distributed among counties. That is squarely, by dint of the Constitution, within their purview. It is our responsibility as senators to ensure that counties share this money in an equitable and equal manner. They have been unable to make that decision. Senators made to make the decision, not once, not twice, in fact, not 3 times, 7 good times. And they are not like the man of God Elijah, who prayed for 7 times before a drop of rain was realized. These are just people who have proved beyond doubt that what we think they are not. Because although our Constitution does not make Senate the upper house, Senate is supposed to be the house of reason. And across the world, the Senate, and in the case of the UK, the House of Lords, is a house where wise decisions are made. These are houses where if decisions come from down, then those decisions are looked at in a sober manner. So you have betrayed the trust, you have betrayed whatever people think about you as Senate, without you having the powers in the Constitution, by dint of the kind of people who are in Senate. Amos Wako, Orengo, Yusuf Haji, Moses Wetangula. You can go on and on. These are men of impeccable credentials. These are men who have fought for this country, some of them. These are men who are educated and learning. These are men with experience in politics and governance. And we expect Senate to make serious decisions. Now, instead of making a decision, 7 times they have not made a decision. How about our leaders? Uhuru Kenyatta has made a decision. He stands with the original formula. You've not heard him talk when Pogisho and Irungu Kangata talk in Senate. Uhuru has made a decision. Raila made a decision. And he said that Senate should support that formula. But there are a number of things they will do thereafter. Although people have interpreted his later statement to mean it was an about turn and therefore an instance of indecision, that he was being indecisive and wavering and talking about the win-win. That is not the case. He has explained through Dennis Onyango, his spokesman, that when he was out of the country for treatment, there was only one formula on the table. That formula had come from CRA. When he came back and made that statement, he had not known that the original formula had undergone metamorphosis to the point, in his own words, you wouldn't know even which formula is being discussed in Senate at any one time during the 7 sittings. Back to Senate. I urge Senate to remember that leadership is about decision making. To make a decision, it does not matter whether you make the decision that one man, one vote is right, but make that decision. If I were a senator, I would have no problem making the decision that in order to move forward, let that formula go on. These calibrations being brought by Sakaja, now Linturi, and the adjournments by the Murkomens, the young people, the One Kenya banner, these are side shows. Make the decision one way or the other. I would say let that formula pass. One man, one vote. But behind my mind, I will know there's more I will do. And I challenge Senate. I challenge you, senators, to pass that formula in the manner it originally was for 2 reasons. One, when you allocate money to people. There will be nothing wrong with giving population significant importance as a parameter in deciding how you allocate money. Do that. But also know, this is one Kenya, not in the manner Sakaja interprets it. One Kenya to mean there are parts of this country that have been left behind. There are parts of this country that do not feel like they are part of Kenya. Do not think it's a joke when people in Turkana say, wanaenda Kenya, umetoka Kenya. It is a reality. I've been there. You don't even feel you are in Kenya. So let us share this money using a formula given. But let us know, so long as there are disparities in this country, then our nationhood and our statehood, our being is not sustainable. Senators must stop the slip they are engaged in. Senators must, and other members of parliament from the National Assembly, must push government to come up with a blueprint to replace the sessional paper number 10 of 1965. Government must show us how they will develop the 18 or so counties that have been left behind. And the senators and governors from places like Northeastern, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, they must show us how they will push government, how they will convince government to ensure that Northeastern is not left behind. It pains me to see there are times when the TSC withdraws teachers from Northeastern province. Why can the elected leaders from Northeastern province lobby their colleagues in parliament and in the council of governors to ensure like 20 billion shillings is set aside every year to ensure that within 5 years, we have 100 boarding schools in those areas? I don't support boarding schools in general, but for the Northeastern province, Turkana and other places where life is nomadic, that seems to be the only way. Can't we push government and let leaders stop being pretentious? CDF has been overtaken by events. We have governors, we have county governments. What we need now is the 30+ billions that is being given to members of parliament to play around with. We need that money, for example, to go to Turkana, to go to Garissa, Wajir, and Mandera. If you push that money in those counties, then you can go ahead and distribute your 316 billion. The second thing I want to talk about is the 316 billion. Why must it be 316? Why not 600? For 2 reasons. One, there is so much money, like I've said before, including last week, that is being stolen. Can the parliament come up with measures to ensure it is not easy to steal public money? And that when you go to jail, when you go to court, the thing is processed quickly, including passing a law that says corruption cases will be tried, concluded in 6 months. Then we stop stealing. We can have even $1 trillion for counties, so that irrespective of whatever formula you use, there is enough money. Then there is a lot of wastage. So we are saying it is possible to process this formula so that we do not embarrass ourselves as Senate. Let it go the way it is. But let's turn to government and tell government, within 6 months, we are working on a blueprint to develop the less developed parts of this country. Secondly, we are going through the budget with a toothbrush to see the padding. There is a lot of padding in our national budget, where items are put there. A good example is NYS. You put money in NYS, you know that NYS has no capacity to spend that money, but you put it there through padding so that you follow it and eat it. Why can members of parliament go through our national budget and look at the padding, look at places where we have put money, water harvesting, all sorts of figures, and they're all fictitious. We remove that money, we save 300-400 billion, we load it on 316, we have 800-700 billion, we use any formula to share. Let us not behave like, and I'm telling young senators, Kenya does not belong to Manyora, it belongs to Sakaja. Kenya does not belong to Moses Wetangula, it belongs to Malala and Khaneri. Kenya does not belong to these old people. It doesn't belong to us. In the animal kingdom, people like us are now being expelled from the herd. You must work knowing that this country belongs to you. Populism will not take you anywhere. Push government with the same energy to ensure there is no stealing of public money, to ensure there is enough money to share among counties, and not to fight over 316 billion in a 3 trillion budget.